Hey folks, it's Monday morning. I've spent the weekend doing a whole lot of different video uploads to a variety of different social media platforms. I'm I'm learning a lot. I'm learning a whole lot about what works, what doesn't work, and it's fascinating. I did want to start this live stream by just paying a compliment. If you're here, if you're one of my viewers, it's because you fall under a category of a smarter person, a smarter angler, someone that isn't necessarily on social media purely for the entertainment value. You probably actually fish, which is what this channel's about, is getting better at fishing, improving your skills. I will tell you that something that I've learned is that people are here to on the little stuff to improve themselves, to improve their angling skills. And social media on the whole, I think there's a whole lot of I just want to be entertained. Just show me something. And so much of that entertainment, so much of that social media addiction is based on what I refer to as the animal brain. There's generally three things that work that are a shortcut in social media to get more views, to grow whatever your platform is, and it's a shortcut. It's sort of, if we're going to compare it to nutrition, it's the sugar, the fat, the salt, caffeine, all those things that are like quick hit, like, yeah, that's what I want, as opposed to your vegetables, which is, I think, what my channel is. I think it's the stuff that's good for you. Specifically, what I've learned in comparing animal brain versus human brain in terms of what works, and I really boiled it down to kind of three things. I'm getting rid of that reminder, but I'm going to read a couple of the ones where I've leaned in a little bit, a couple of my titles, to see, hey, this is what works, and I try not to cross the line into it being clickbait. But the three things that are shortcuts in social media to get attention, to get the view count to go up: violence and conflict. Stunt videos are sort of in that genre, but anything that's confrontational, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I won't even go into it. Sex. It's what TikTok's specialty is. What I'll tell you about TikTok, I do have a TikTok account that I've started. I had one for torpedo fishing that, I put out promotional. I put out stuff that pertained to those motors, and they've done fairly well. But I'll tell you, if you're on TikTok, and just watch what you're spending a lot of time watching, and ask yourself, or just remind yourself, hey, that's someone's daughter. I'm leaving it alone. It's not good for you. Rewires your brain in a sick sort of animal brain sort of way. Money's the third one. Giveaways is a big one, or fear of missing out. Like, you're gonna, it's all fear based. Is the one of the shortcuts. You're losing money, or you're gonna miss out. That kind of that kind of thing. I think out of all of them, conflict is the biggest one, and it's just how we're wired. We like sports. There has to be a winner and a loser. Any story, any book on my bookshelf that's fiction has an antagonist and protagonist. So Matt is saying TikTok is crazy. It's not for self-promotion. I don't know. There are some people are on there that are putting out entertaining content that you're not going to get real far with education, but it's fishing. It's legitimate. The thing with TikTok, you got to go on there and not just start swiping and look at what comes at you. You have to search, and you'll find your kayak fishing content, your smallmouth content, your whatever it is. But you gotta use your brain, search those tags. Anyways, I won't get into all that. So basically, the shortcuts for the animal brain: fear, sex, greed, and outrage. And what where I've leaned into it, 80% of the smallmouth died. That's something that the river keeper who I was interviewing, that Mark Frondorf, Shenandoah River Keeper, said it's something that truly happened. But it worked. My click through rate was straight up. This detail is costing you bites. Fear of missing out. I've leaned into it, and I kind of look back and I say, yeah, it worked. I'm learning what works, but I don't like it. I'm not good with it. I don't want to lead with fear or greed. It's certainly not about sex. It's about getting better as an angler. If you look through it, you'll see some of the changes or some of the things like that. Don't hog up the ramp. That one, I really just did that video as a means to say, hey, let's be conscientious or respectful of other people's time at this public resource we call the boat ramp. But I knew that wouldn't be, if I did anything, if I said anything in those lines like that. I had to say, don't hog up the ramp. It's conflict. It works. My point is, though, if you're here because, especially on my live feeds, you're here because you want to learn things. So I'm going to move on from that a little bit, and just talk about the human brain. In contrast, animal brain is simple, violence or conflict, sex, money. I am looking at my notes here because I've been thinking about it. Human brain is much more complex and interesting. If we're the type of folks that have the patience to read a book or to watch a 20-minute how-to video, or just more interesting brains. They're more interesting humans, and there's less of people, leveraging, letting go little pieces of their soul by leaning into the sex, violence, and money type entertainment. They're people that want to use their brain and to improve at something, to improve themselves. But in last 2 weeks or so, I've been heavy into this and going to each of the social media platforms that I'm on. TikTok, I mentioned. I've put a lot of content in there. I've put a lot of 30 to 60 minute quick, like, here's the intro for this video. I'm hoping to pull people from that community over to the little stuff and help them educate. Instagram, I've scheduled a bunch of stuff through early March. The little stuff Facebook page, I got a bunch of promo videos that are like the first half. So I give a good bit. 7 or 8 minutes out of 20, or even 17 minutes out of an hour. Enough to be like, hey, if you get to the end of it, you're vested, and then there's this call to action, please subscribe. So I've done a lot of that work for 2 weeks, and I'm itching. I've been looking outside, and it's been cold and nasty and whatever. This Wednesday, I'm in Maryland. I'm probably going to drive somewhere into Virginia, find some spring influenced water, or just go explore. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm doing, but I'm getting on the water on Wednesday. And then it gets cold again. I need it. I need it for my mental sanity, and just, as a break from all the social media. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of interaction I do with all of you through my Facebook page and in the community tab and everywhere, that I enjoy, because we have good back and forth. People ask questions, and I get to think and share my opinions, and then have someone post, a photo that, here's what I did in tackle crafting, or whatever it is, or just, I enjoy that sort of interaction. But I gotta get on the water. I gotta. Because what I have going on beyond that, the end of next week, I drive to Miami for, I'm gonna put my literally Torquedo hat on for this, for the Torquedo booth at the Miami International Boat Show. So it's a good bit of work, and I gotta go down there and fully lock into that, and that's why I've preloaded so much content going into that. But beyond that, on the way home, I have some stops in South Carolina that I'm filming with some pretty big names, not just in kayak fishing, but in fishing. And I'm not going to name drop yet, but good stuff, really good stuff, really good insight on pre-fishing as I've done before for tournaments, but some other cool stuff. So do look forward to that, and hopefully look forward to what I'm able to get out on Wednesday and produce. I do have two premieres this week. I'm just kind of scrolling down and see what it is. So I put the first half of the Potomac smallmouth one up that I did with Jed on January 2nd. That full one is going to be released tomorrow at 4 o'clock, so you get to watch the whole thing. So really should be a good primer for maybe not this week's warming trend, because it's not much of one, but they're coming. It's the information in that Potomac smallmouth warming trend tips and tactics. March is all about the warming trends, and hopefully you can, get out at the end of those and not just be like, sorry, Saturday's my day. But that's what I did for years and years and years, which is, you take the day that you can go. If you work Monday through Friday, Saturday, and you get better doing that. You really do get better. But I'm choosing Wednesday. But that video really should help you with putting your jig in the right places when we do have the warming trends. The other one that I think is the next day is Wednesday. That's just a very simple, quick, just a reminder to develop the habit of retying, especially if you're a river angler, retying before you think you need to. So you're avoiding those break-offs. And usually they come on the hook set. Hopefully not if you have your drag set properly, but and it could be something that's your goal for this year, to improve yourself as an angler. Again, we're coming back to that concept. Retie more often. Make that a habit. I tell you, the one that I'm still not good at in the summer is retying my fluorocarbon leader to braid knot. And I end up casting one of those super valuable, coveted crayfish crankbaits off. Or if it's a whopper plopper, I usually get those back. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you just send it off, you're like, I got nothing but braid. What I would talk about in Wednesday's video is the last little bit of fluorocarbon before you get to that bottom bouncer. Retying that so that you're not missing, what could be your personal best. So I think that's all I got for now. I appreciate you. I really appreciate that I have some folks that watch me that are using their human brain instead of just their animal brain. And if you know other anglers that are like you, that want to improve at fishing, please tell them about the channel. Please share the link to the channel if you can on your social media feed. A lot of you have done that. Thank you. That helps. My numbers are going up. I say slowly, but since the end of last week, they're climbing nicely, and it's because of you folks. Appreciate it. Really, I do. Thank you. Talk to you later.